So I picked up on this story a little while ago, but I feel like I need to report on it. Generally speaking, I don't like police. I know it sounds crazy from a guy who used to be in the army, but trust me, there's a lot of corruption, there's a lot of garbage, there's a lot of miscommunication, and when you're involved in law and you have to use your interpretation for said law, a lot of problems occur. Now, a lot of this stuff would probably go away if there were cameras in place and they could be held to check no matter what, but a lot of that doesn't happen. However, in one situation, this police officer decided to do an amazing thing, and I believe he should be recognized. There's a Cleveland police officer. Yes, I live pretty close to Cleveland, so this is pretty much in my neck of the woods. What ended up happening is a 9-year-old boy had his Pokemon cards stolen, and this Cleveland police officer gave him his collection from when he was a kid. So, yeah, Pokemon cards are still kind of a big thing. I'm not really sure how or why, but again, I'm not talking about TCG. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, like, you know, when you're in school trading cards and whatnot. I thought that kind of faded out and went away, but apparently there's still people who do it, and that's cool. Again, TCG is popular, you know, competitive scene, stuff like that. I just didn't know that they still carried around binders and traded cards, stuff like that. So, what ended up happening is this kid was walking to his friend's house, had his binder of Pokemon cards, and he was going to probably go and trade and battle and whatever. And this other kid ran up, grabbed his binder, and just took off running. So the 9-year-old obviously couldn't catch the kid. He went home, his mom called the police, and the police officers responded. They involved all of the kids in the neighborhood and found the child who had stolen his Pokemon cards. Well, unfortunately, the child that stole the Pokemon cards had already taken out a bunch of cards and sold them or ripped them up or whatever. You know what I mean? Details on that weren't divulged, but you can use your imagination as to where they went. And what ended up happening is that he was pretty devastated because he loves Pokemon cards. Well, the officer came in and gave him his collection. You know, this officer had stuff from 1998, 99, and 2000. So you can only imagine the value in the cards, man. First editions, movie exclusives. The guy even had that really, really odd looking Mew card. You can see the whole story in the link I'm going to provide in the description below, but I feel really bad when people do this shit. You know, cards have a big sentimental value. It's an investment. You know, it's just like collecting cars. It's just like collecting PCs and doing your own PC builds. It's just like collecting games. You know, you have a lot of time invested. And yeah, I know the money put in doesn't equate to different hobbies based on income and stuff like that. You know, you can't really compare collecting cards to collecting cars, but you get the gist of what I'm saying here. It would be devastating if anybody came in and took some of your collection out, you know? Imagine if you had just finally restored that, 78 Mustang to working condition. It's beautiful, perfect, then it gets carjacked. And it's like, oh man. And no one's gonna come in and hand you your Mustang. No one's gonna come in and hand you a fleet of Mustangs, you know, to replace your one. But that's essentially what this officer did. He replaced the kid's card collection, and it's very nice that he did so. The kid likes a lot of different cards. He's got a Minecraft shirt on. He's a cool kid, man. I think children who are involved in gaming and stuff like that, that's very good. It's a very good hobby, rather than, you know, banging heroin on the streets. I think that's way better distraction than getting involved in the drug game. I think we need more of that, and I think that's very good. Now, me personally, if a kid stole my Pokemon collection, I would chase them down and beat the brakes off their fucking ass. If you heard my story about how someone stole my Mario watch when I was about like 4, 5, or 6, when I was around the first grade, I went to school the next day and just beat the brakes off the kid. I got my watch back. Anyways, point is, ladies and gentlemen, it's nice to see an officer actually doing something for the community instead of, you know, setting up speed traps, shaking down random people. It's just nice to see that finally you get a little bit given back. And that's exactly what the officer says. He says he'd rather see someone smiling at him than sneering and frowning because they're police. So anyways, ladies and gentlemen, what's your take on this story? Are you interested in this story? Do you think cops can do good? Leave your comments in the section below, and once again, I'm your host, Protomario, and I'm signing out. As always, good gaming, and God bless.